We will call the meeting to order. As part of our beginning, we always say the pledge, so would we stand, face the flag as we say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Larry will not be with us this evening. He has a work commitment which he had to follow through on. But when I call your name, please let us know that you're present. Bill?
Present.
Katie?
Present.
Anna? Brenda?
Present.
Bob? Present. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Is there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, I have one addition to the agenda. If we could add that under item 11 or lower. If you want to add it at the end of the board meeting, we could certainly do that if that's easier.
Yeah, let's add it to 15. And what is the item?
The item is to approve to hire a long-term sub for middle school, high school, phy-ed, and health. And the name is Brian Moorlach, Moorlach, with a start date on September 30th, 2020.
Okay. Including the addition item, I would like to have a motion to approve the agenda with that addition.
And Jeff, you said that was a full-time.
Long-term sub.
Long-term.
Yep.
Long-term sub PE and health, you said?
Yes.
That's,
For middle school, high school.
Remainder of the school year.
Yes.
Okay. Having known that, do we have an approval of the agenda?
I'll approve the agenda.
Motion by Katie. Second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Bill. Other discussion? All in favor of the roll call. A yes vote would be for the approval of the agenda. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna? Yes. Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Scheduled presenters, facility update, Dave Peterson.
I saw him on here. Dave, are you still here?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Turn it up just a little bit, if
Well,
you can.
I'll see what I can do here. Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, can you
Yep.
maybe speak up just a little bit?
Yeah. And I can pull this closer too. All right, so we're ready to roll?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for giving me a little time. We haven't talked in a while. It's been kind of a wild ride the last 6 months. So I'll go as far back as the end of last year, starting with graduation. And really, this year has been not only challenging but difficult at times for the custodial and maintenance staff. We've had all the new guidelines for building use and also the challenge for outside activities and sports. So these new guidelines have been inside and outside. It's been quite a challenge. Everything from floor and table stickers to posters to drinking fountains to room setup, storing furniture, building disinfecting, say that I owe many thanks to all involved in the last 6 months of all these challenges. A few of the projects and some of the things we've been working on. Really at the beginning of the summer, we started working with the McGalis family and the DNR on the school forest project. That's come along actually quite well, and it's starting to really shape up and look great. We had the elementary secure entry project. It's pretty much finished. It looks great. It sounds like we have some programming issues that we need to kind of iron out, but aside from that, it's actually worked out well, and I think it looks really good. I'm pleased with the results, and you know, most importantly, I'm also really happy with the fact that we have a permanent solution to our security issue over there at the elementary. The sidewalk and handicap access was installed over the summer, so we have better access going across that walkway, and that really helped out great this year, which we didn't expect because we have the kids walking from the bus drop-off over to the elementary, so that's just something that just happened to work out great. It needed to be done. It got done. It looks great. We also removed the grass on the center island for a safer access for the kids in the elementary to get into the building. That looks great too. That was finished at the same time. We added at the main entry at the district office and the main entry for the high school, middle school, we added some access gates to be able to control the flow of the traffic. High school, middle school, auditorium had an LED conversion for all the can lights inside the auditorium, and that was completed. High school, middle school, outside lighting on the field house, that was also completed to finally light up the Cannonball schools on the building, and it looks great. Also was working with Mitch Banks and CFYA to put turf in the bullpens and the batting cage outside the back of the school. That's just about complete also, and that turned out quite well. So I'd like to thank Mitch Banks for working with us on that. It turned out really nice. And lastly, something that we're working on that's kind of a big project is the ionization for the HVAC for high school, middle school, and also the elementary. That's something that we'll be, I'm sure, discussing further as we go on here. But kind of in a little nutshell there, that's kind of what's been going on and what we've had happening since last year. Any questions that you might have?
How has the acceptance been with the new security and the walkthrough from both Jen's perspective and Dave's? How's that been going as far as families and acceptance of that?
Maybe I would be lucky enough to hand that off to Jennifer and let her talk about that a little bit since she's in the building every day.
You know, with our COVID restrictions of having visitors in the building, once a parent does need to come into the building, there is a camera that sees them and a speaker, so they would just let Julie know what they're there for. If it happens to be picking up of a student, they stay in the vestibule area and the student comes to them. And, you know, this will obviously potentially change when hopefully COVID is done. But the idea is that when someone comes into the office, that they don't have access to the rest of the building. So that has always been the goal, is that they just can't, you know, head on in, wandering the building, or kind of lose sight when the secretaries are busy of them. So I think it's wonderful. You know, testing out our fire alarms and our lockdowns has been really nice to see. Those fire doors that are on either end, it's just really, the added protection is great. And it's nice to see it kind of all come together.
Questions for either Dave or Jen? Well, for Dave, I guess.
No.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning those fire doors, Jen. That was also part of that project. And I just want to throw in there, having that added set of doors there compared to a rolling door that never came down, it really added a huge amount of security to both ends of those buildings to either push the lockdown or to have the fire alarm go off
that's kind of an added bonus to having the fire doors replaced and finally coming up to code on that.
I think we had really good contractors we worked with. They were very accommodating. They did a nice job. Everything looks as it should look. They've done final walkthroughs. They were great with the architects. They were great with the city inspectors. It all turned out quite well, so I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, a few programming issues we got to deal with, but when you add that many doors, that many access points, that's kind of a process that needs to work its way out, and we're going to get there. We'll get there. But between the fob access in and out, and now securing the inside of that main office, so once you're in that office, you literally can't go anywhere unless you're buzzed back into the building when the secretary lets you go in whatever direction you're going. So there's a lot of programming involved with that, far more than I would have any idea. So we'll end up getting there. And like I said, I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out.
Okay. Any facilities questions? Anything else for Dave? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
This, since it was a discussion item, there will be no action included here. Public input. Due to data privacy concerns, a speaker may not address criticism toward an individual district employee. So if you'd like to speak to the district about anything in particular concerning the district, now is your time. Okay, moving on. Consideration to approve the finance report. Josh, you here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, you're on.
Here. Ready? Normal kind of state of business of where the school's at in terms of cash presently. The top amount is the checking account balances as of the date that was pushed out for the board agenda. Important to know that the cash balance is obviously different than the fund balance. Cash is going to have all things in it. One thing that stands out too exciting in the launch present here other than we're planning for county tax receipts from City of Dakota County. That should be mid of October, to late October, and then see some cleanup in November and December as well as other receipts roll in. We saw with our first tax payment in the end of April, beginning of May, that we did pretty good job in terms of receiving tax receipts from the county. There was a huge decrease due to some COVID issues. I know that the county had forgave some payment on taxes for those that were able to pay at that time. There may be some of that happened in the second wave, so just as Mr. Premier right now, we won't get those final amounts until generally the week before the release of those funds to the district. They're still collecting funds currently. In terms of expenditures, other than normal payroll going out and normal bills going out, there's a couple of things that might take care of the expect lease payments and then the final bus lease payment. Right now we have a device that all staff in good hands, and that's paid from our system as far. Currently, in terms of cash flow, we stay positive. And as long as we stay at the current path that we're in, County, we'll stay positive cash flow, not have any need for cash flow borrow. Again, assuming that everything stays the same as is with the state, county, and entities. If there are any questions on that, I can do my best to answer. Further on to the next sheet.
Any questions on this presentation? Okay, let's move over to the COVID-related expenditures and revenue.
Yeah, so trying to track all these funds and revenue sources that are outside the norm for our district, for any district that's operating currently, especially with the added expenditure of a lot of COVID-related expenses, whether they be personal protective items, child care, infectious staffing for teaching assistants, April when we went to distance. There was a couple of sets of funds, GEARS fund, that's the Governor Emergency Relief Education Fund. We've got another year and a half to get to spend those funds, and those will be earmarked for technology. The ESSER fund, the federal fund, that mainly is going to be earmarked for extra child care and some staffing issues. It needs to be got in order to maintain small class sizes or cover. Coronavirus relief fund, CRF fund, from federal, our grant is $285,000, and that needs to be spent before, essentially for costs that are incurred July 1 of 20 to December 30th of 20. When we get later on into the expenditures, we'll talk about a large portion of that will go. City of Cannon Falls has some remaining CARES funds that they've earmarked to the school district as well as to the county. They received community county funds already. The City of Cannon Falls funds are in their budget. We have not received those yet. The Court County Electric donated some funds as well as we'll see the Health and Human Services Provider Relief Fund that's tied directly to our medical assistance grant. Then a couple other nice grants, and the Cannon Falls Education Foundation for iPads and connectivity, as well as the Landing Foundation for matching grant for that. So in total, as of it stands now, about just under $500,000 of revenue new to the district. But as you'll see in the next portion, we have plenty of expense there to offset that revenue. When the first issue came for distance learning, we still have to provide child care for essential workers, and that was at no cost. So you see a large portion of child care is going to be earmarked for those dollars. That's the essential worker child care. Distance learning prep, teachers and staff were given a few extra hours to help prepare themselves for distance learning going into school year, distance learning and hybrid learning. Extra 6 assignments. Largely, or majority of these are at the high school. We're under a block scheduling now. Some teachers are on overload, so we've got extra 6 assignments in there. Additional staffing, we're looking at increasing the staffing for nursing, number of hours that they're available per week coming in, support staff as well as staffing for need arrive budget for support staff come in and help in the crash. PPE and sanitizer, all the stuff that David mentioned earlier that is very hard to get for a long time, whether it be just the pump foam bottles for sanitizing or the weight, or well, other companies there and else who scrambling for these things as well. They see almost 20,000 for that. Technology, well, an extra set of Chromebooks, iPads, hotspots for mostly students, a couple staff that don't have great connectivity or connectivity at all in order to have this learning. And that's an ongoing cost until we need to put this hotspot back at the end of the long term. HVAC upgrade for ionizer, they'll discuss later on in the board agenda. It is something that will affect and impact everybody, all students, all staff, all community members that enter into the district. And we'll talk more about that later, but it's air systems attached to the HVAC that result in the reduction of the coronavirus or other items that are airborne. Signage, you've seen it in around the district. There's a ton of signs around the district, whether it be keep your distance, stand here, sit here, just mask up, and all the PSA that you know, a ton of signage that goes out so when you inform what's going on. Social distancing requirements, the largest portion of this approved prior to first start from the state was 10 passenger van. We have vans that go out, pick up students, bring them to and from school. We're really limited on the number of kids you can put into a normal passenger van for us can carry 6 people, 7 plus if you include the driver. We have to split those out in the space, so we needed another van in order to do club. You may have seen in newspaper or news, State High School League has put back some of their costs, their revenue loss to all school districts. There was an increased cost, COVID installment is called. That we are according to those funds. And then just some miscellaneous COVID-related supplies. A lot of it has to do with stuff in the nurse's office, thermometers, almost oximeters for your fingers, cots for kids that they need to flip the days. So it's kind of a breakdown of where we are right now, cost and everything. So you see that when we have a significant portion of the amount of funds coming in for revenue, there's no shortage of expense as well to offset that. So again, any questions? Pretty quick summary of what's there, but if there are any questions, I can do my best to answer.
Josh, I have a quick question. I know the township that I live in received CARES funds that they were planning on turning over to the district. Is that rolled into the Goodyear County number, or would that come up separately?
Yep. So, good question, because that's gone back and forth depending on guidance, and it's changed several times. At one point, the city was able to give funds directly to the school, and then there's guidance that said that can't happen, and now they're saying that it can. It's gone back and forth. We have already received the funds from the county, so it's been kind of a hold up. Maybe with the city and the other funds, and they would clear guidance. Townships, we had reached out to one township, I don't believe it's but they're looking for ways to get money back to the city to the schools, not only to have it go to waste, so they've got funds they have used, didn't have used for, and then it's going to have to turn over to the school district. Haven't had a whole lot of success in fact from our school district, but that is an option for some townships if they have extra funds available.
And I would encourage them to contact us. Sorry.
I just wanted to clarify that the numbers here are just from the county and the city, there weren't any. Because I wasn't sure if the county number, if the township said to turn the money over to the county and then the county donated, so, okay.
And that was the one guidance at one time too, where they're saying that the county, the townships, cities need to give their funds back to the county for the county to release to the schools. That's been cleaned up. But no, what's here for revenue just what we actually got from nothing from any township.
Any other questions?
I had a question on the high school league. As an installment, are we expecting another one of the same dollar amount?
Yep. Both installments are in here. There's two installments of $3,500 each. One due
No.
at the end of October, one due in February. Currently, we kind of wait to see on that, but that's when we say installment, there are two payments of $3,500 each.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the finance report and the COVID-related expenditures and revenues.
I'll make the motion.
Anna, on the motion. Seconded?
I'll second.
Seconded by Katie. Other discussion? Okay, a yes vote would be to acknowledge and approve both the finance report and the expenditures and revenues. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted under one motion. In the event a board member wants to discuss any single item, it can be removed from the agenda for a separate action. Jeff usually likes to open up with a resolution about acceptance of gifts.
Yes, I'd like to read off and thank our donors for all their generous contributions over the past month since our last board meeting. The first one is an anonymous $1,000 donation that went toward our luncheon for the all-staff Welcome Back Day that was well received by staff in both buildings. I think that was a nice little contribution to our staff coming back, and they enjoyed burrito bowls from Nick's downtown. So the next one is from Dakota Electric, as Josh had put in his report for $1,000 for COVID-related expenses. And the rest here are from the Cannon Falls Education Foundation. The first one is a matching grant in partnership with Blandon, as Josh had showed you as well, for $6,830.50 for iPads for middle school and high school distance learning for teachers and students. Another one for $1,519.50 for elementary music sonar glockenspiels. Another one for $1,147.50 for elementary music for individual music packs. And finally, $102 from the Ed Foundation for third grade classroom setup. And total from the Ed Foundation for September funding was from $9,599.50. So we do want to thank all of our donors for this month.
So, any questions on the consent agenda? Would you like to look at the minutes from the last meeting to make sure they're correct, or have you already reviewed them?
I can pull them up here.
Please take a look at them. If you see anything that's incorrect, take a moment, and then when you're ready, we can approve the consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Katie made the motion, Bill has seconded it. Other discussion on the consent agenda? A yes vote would be for its approval. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna? Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0. Superintendent's report.
Basically, all I have are just the agenda items. We've been off to a really good start with the school district for the year. I tell you, between our administrative staff, teaching staff, support staff, everybody has really been rowing in the same direction, if you will, and making this happen for the betterment of our kids and for everybody involved. I can't be more happy and pleased and humbled by that effort that everybody has put in. So I've been really happy with the way, considering the pandemic that we are in, that things are going really well. Other than that, all I have is just the agenda items here listed, unless you guys have questions.
Okay. Okay, under old business, we have none. Under new business, consideration to approve the purchase and installation of ionization units, comparison quote, and NAC info.
Yes, as we were going through looking at a lot of the guidance from the state and the Department of Health, one of the things that we really wanted to take a look at was our air quality within our buildings. There's different options for the air quality in the buildings, and one of them is running our systems at 100% capacity, and so that we have a high volume of air refresh rate. Another option is to add HEPA filters, which is a retrofit, and Dave, step in here because I feel like I'm getting out of my lane a little bit on some of this. But and then a third option is to add either UV light filters or ionization units to our current HVAC system. One of the biggest concerns that we worried about was if we are running these at 100%, we're going to have a burnout rate of our HVAC system. And so what we wanted to take a look at was a different way of getting the same results without wearing down our large units over a period of time and having them come due for replacement earlier down the line. In doing some research on both HEPA filters which continue to make the systems run hard, and there's a retrofit cost to them. We didn't seem that that would be any better for what we were looking at. We looked at UV filters, or UV lights, I should say, and there is a burnout rate of HVAC systems from what we were reading as well. And so what we landed on was the bipolar ionization units. And going out and doing our research on them, we felt that this was probably the best overall system for providing another layer of protection for our staff and students and visitors that come not only during COVID times, but also moving forward because of the way it handles viruses and bacteria and allergens and dust throughout the year. It'll overall provide a better quality of indoor air for our staff and students and visitors. We did talk about the...
Piggyback off that a little bit, Jeff, just to kind of elaborate on some of the things that you said.
Yep.
You know, between running the units at 100% and having that, you know, there's a ripple effect to that. It's not only wearing the equipment out quicker, but there's other things that you're bringing in, humidity, other problems like that. So you're looking at an ongoing expense, not to mention the increased energy consumption, which could be up to 35% from what we're finding out. HEPA filters, other option looking at, once again, ongoing expense, continues to cost money, once again, makes the equipment work harder. So that just seemed like another ongoing expense that didn't have the effectiveness that we're looking for. When we finally got to the ionization, we realized, number one, it's a one-time expense. It's not like the UV, where if the unit itself is not made for UV, it really struggles. It burns out. It really is hard on the equipment. Once again, another option with an ongoing expense. And then finally, with the ionization, the great thing about it is, regardless whether we're in a pandemic or not, this is a great option. I mean, in an independent study, it killed up to 99.4% of COVID-19. But you have mold, you have the regular flu virus, you have everything else that comes with seasonal things. And so once this is installed, it will continue to work and have a great effectiveness on the health and well-being of everyone in the buildings. So in the end, it really turned out to be our best option, and it's actually a great option because of the fact that once it's kind of installed and then you're done.
As Josh mentioned in his presentation on the finances for the coronavirus relief funds, we have dollars that we have to expend out the door by the end of December. And so we're looking at one-time costs that can't be ongoing costs that would carry over into the second half of the school year. I really feel this is a good use of those dollars, especially for another layer of security for the indoor air quality for our students and staff. We've ran this through both the Finance Committee and specifically the Facility Committee, and had good discussions around this. Larry, who isn't here tonight, talked extensively about ionization in his work. He works in the health and safety area of his job currently, and I don't want to speak for Larry, but there was good discussions had among that, and people felt positive about moving this forward to the board to consider. The three things that you have in front of you are three quotes from companies on the same units, and obviously NAC is significantly lower than the other two. The quote that NAC sent, it gives some the range of benefits, obviously, from these, but it also talks about where the items would be installed. And currently, at that price, we would install all of the units in both the elementary and middle school, high school, except for the field house. If the board is interested, we could look at getting a quote on the field house, but in kind of sizing up the field house versus the rest of our needs, it would probably be roughly about another, $25,000–$30,000, Dave? we figured,
Correct.
to do the field house. With the field house and the social distancing involved in there, we're not running that at full capacity right now, so that can be something definitely we add down the line if the board is interested. But at this time, we would be doing all of our buildings, both the middle school, high school, and the elementary areas, except for the field house for that $112,000, and that's what we're recommending at this point.
And
Are
again-
all three bids for basically the same number, or is it the same?
Yeah.
Services and everything?
Yeah, I talked extensively with the second company listed there, DMC Plumbing, and they said, yeah, it's the same units that they were looking at quoting as well. They don't know. They asked for sure that this was with electricity, and I confirmed that with NAC. And so it's a turnkey price here from NAC. Yeah, I feel very comfortable that these are the same things that the other companies were bidding on.
And this was okayed by both the facility and finance when you took it to them?
Yeah, it's been okayed by the facility and finance, and plus we have to get pre-approval from the state before we expend more than, was it $5,000, Josh, out of any of these coronavirus funds?
We went to the purchase for over $10,000, and we received fire approval already for both the van and for these projects. So, if the board chooses to do so, we would have to for them.
Yep, we would have the approval already from the state to move forward on this project if you guys approve.
Okay. Other questions for Jeff or Dave?
So it says in here, there's no other, like, maintenance, like, what's the maintenance for the system? Is there any maintenance for the system, or once you're done, and like, there's no filters, it says, and that kind of thing, but
Right?
is there anything?
Good.
Yeah, just basically set it and forget it,
Okay,
is what Dave has been working with NAC on what that looks like as far as maintenance, but yeah, it seems really low maintenance.
okay.
If we have no other questions, I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Brenda on the approve motion, seconded.
I'll second, or Anna can.
Anna on the second, close race. Other discussion. A yes vote would be to approve the purchase and installation of the ionization units by, well, the purchase to NAC. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes,
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Moving on, consideration to approve the maximum proposed levy certification for fiscal year '21.
Josh can chime in on this. Basically, this is an every year item that the district needs to set a pre-levy in by the end of September, so that those numbers can get out to district residents in time to set the final levy in December. I would recommend setting the maximum levy at this point, as we have every year, and then you would set a final levy in December. But if you set a specific number now, remember, you can't go higher.
Higher.
Yep, so that's why I recommend setting the maximum levy.
I'll move.
Moved by Bill to approve the maximum levy and the proposed levy cert. Second?
I'll second.
Katie on the second. A yes vote would be for the approval of the maximum certification. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes,
Anna? Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. That passes by a 5-0 vote. Moving on, consideration to approve a special school board meeting on November 12th or the 13th to canvass the 20 election.
And the choice is the board, but we do need to have a special meeting within a certain amount of days each time there's an election to certify the results.
And why were these dates chosen, the 12th to 13th? They correspond with,
Yeah, they correspond with the upcoming election, and plus, I believe, is it 10 days, Lori? that we have to certify within 10 days of the election, so.
The 13th
And But you,
is
but you have,
Friday?
you can't certify it too quickly, though.
Correct.
Yes.
When we would have.
Thursday's the 12th.
Yeah.
So Thursday the 12th or Friday the 13th? How does that set you back?
It'll be quick,
Yeah, it's usually a quick meeting.
and we can offer it as a Zoom, so.
I have either open right now, so.
Anyone have a personal choice?
I would say the
Should
12th.
avoid Friday the 13th.
There's enough issue with the election
Yeah,
this
let's
year.
do the
Let's go with
12th.
the 12th.
12?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a consensus on November 12th being our date.
Will it be the
ti-
same time?
Same time, 6 p.m.?
Yep, 6 p.m.
We can probably Zoom that as well, huh?
Yeah, it's not going to take very long.
Yep.
Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion on November 12th to canvass the election?
I'll make,
a motion.
I'll second.
Anna? And Katie on the second. A yes vote would be to confirm November 12th as the canvassing time at 6 p.m. here at the school at a site we'll determine. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes, that passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve a resignation.
We had a resignation shortly after our last board meeting that you guys approved a person for a first grade slot. The person's name is Sarah Crummel, and I would recommend that we approve the resignation.
Do we have a motion to approve that resignation?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Katie, second.
I'll second.
Second by Anna. Other discussion? A yes vote would be to approve that resignation. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve Sydney McNamara as a 1.0 FTE first grade long-term sub for the 2021 year.
Without going into extensive musical chairs here in this, Sydney McNamara you already approved for one other position, but we would be moving her into this 1.0 long-term position that you just approved.
Motion to approve Sydney in the
I'll move.
Anna, or Brenda?
I'll second.
And Bill on the second. Other discussion? A yes vote would be for the approval of Sydney for the 1.0 first grade long-term sub for the current year. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve Nick McGrath as a 1.0 FTE sixth grade long-term sub through November 9th of 2020.
This is from, to fill a position from the last board meeting, and I recommend approval on this.
Okay?
I'll make a motion to approve Nick McGrath.
Katie on the motion to approve Nick, seconded
I'll second.
by Anna. Other discussion? A yes vote would be to approve Nick in that capacity. Bill?
I have a quick question. I know we have a long time between meetings, but I think this has come up in the past. I know in particular Ms. McGrath is already teaching, so I'm just trying to understand how the approval process works if we're approving it after the fact. Like, what would happen if we decided not to approve it? I realize that's a pretty rare outcome, but I'm just curious how that works if he's already in the
The
classroom.
transition.
I think I'd have to look at the history of what you guys have done here. If that's just, I know in other districts that I've worked, it's just understood that if we have situations that come up like this without having time, especially to start school.
Yep.
Well, I think in this circumstance, it's substitution versus a long-term sub. I think what Ann is referring to is maybe a actual hire because of the timing we've had where we're already getting past the offer and the approval and that we've discussed that before.
Yeah, we'd have to probably do short call subs in there from day one until we finish it, if you know, depending on which way you want to go.
I'm not saying it needs to change,
Yep.
I just want to, point out that, like,
Yep.
kind of
A procedural question. Yep.
And if that's how if that's the intention, that's fine. I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of clear on how this is.
It's been past practice to carry it out just this way. Otherwise, we wait for a subsequent meeting, and that can
Takes too much time.
plug in and give us a lot more issues. So, yeah, it has been past practice, but good question. Any other discussion? Okay. A yes vote would be for the approval of Nick. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Nick has been approved by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve Angela Rosendahl as a 1.0 FTE first grade long-term sub beginning October 8th, 2020 to the end of the year.
Yes, Angela would take Sydney's place as Sydney moved into that other position, and Angela would take this position that was approved last month. I recommend approval.
I'll move to approve.
Bill on the approval, the motion. Seconded.
I'll second.
Seconded by Katie. Other discussion?
These are both for first grade, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So just their status is going to change, they're not going to change classrooms?
Didn't
I'm just wondering about, like, consistency.
Didn't McNamara start at the beginning of the
Yeah,
year?
I think Sydney started in the classroom that she's going to stay in, if that's what you're looking for.
That's my question,
Yep.
yes, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? A yes vote would be the approval of Angie Rosendahl at the 1.0 first grade long-term sub starting October 8th. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve the final support staff contract.
On that list there, we had one left, and our negotiations committee had finished with them. And where am I at here?
It was here, I saw it.
Yeah, paraprofessionals.
I think it deserves just a little bit. Bill and I are on the negotiations team. We did negotiate this contract. Bill, anything to it at all or not?
Well, I think it's important to state that, the paraprofessionals came and asked to speak with the negotiations team because of some prior contracts going back in time that they felt like they needed to make some adjustments. Because normally it's been handled by the superintendent, and at this point Bob and I decided to listen to their claims or their issues and really work with them. It was very difficult to move forward considering the circumstances of what they've given up in the past, and we really needed to work together to get this contract done, and I think we still have some work to do, but I think we came to terms, and we hope to continue to work on it.
Hey, very well said. I echo what you said in the past, or what you said just now, and we needed to come to some conclusion about their contract and get it updated. And again, it's a work in progress, but for this contract period, they've accepted our final offer, and we're moving forward, and I think all is good. Good staff. Look for a motion to approve the support staff contract.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Brenda, on the motion. Second? Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Katie. Katie on the second. Other discussion?
First, say thanks to everyone on the negotiating committee. I know that can be challenging.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, Brenda.
A yes vote would be for the approval of the contract. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve the final fall coaching staff list for 2021.
Basically, the list is what it says it is our coaching staff has been updated with football and volleyball off and running now as well, to go along with the rest of our fall sports and activities. I would recommend approving the list as is.
Sure. Is our AD here? Any comment from AD or not?
Yeah, Reed was on earlier.
I'm here.
Hi, Reed. Any input on that fall coaching staff list here that you'd like to recommend to us?
No, we just had to get, we had some late changes with cross country and another late one here with football, with the resignations that's crossed out. So talking with Coach Myers, we still might get one more person there that's paid by the boosters. The rest, those that are listed in red, they've all been interviewed and approved, and here's the recommendation.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the fall coaching staff for 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the fall coaching staff.
Motion by Katie, second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Bill. Bill wins that. Other discussion about the staff, coaching staff? Okay, yes vote would be for the approval of the fall coaching staff for 2021. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. That passes by a 5-0 vote. Consideration to approve the purchase of a van through CARES funds.
As Josh mentioned earlier, we had to make some adjustments with our transportation because we did not fit under the 50% rule, so we had to end up going out buying a van. And in our discussion, and also communicated with the transportation committee, that we felt that a 10-passenger van would be a better purpose rather than sending 2 7-passenger vans to help meet the social distancing guidelines. And that van would help us further down the line as we move forward, because it's just not for this year, it's for future years as well. And so we were able to purchase this out of the coronavirus relief funds. And Josh, anything else to add on that?
So, we're talking about social distancing requirement and necessity. There's an ever-growing need depending on the time of vans in our district. We are on rotation, and this will help us out. As you said, not only for this year, through COVID periods, but also going on to everywhere else sometimes. So, a little more than 6 times a year, a lot of 6 times. So, we'll have us all for quite some time.
Anna, this is your committee.
Yep. I don't have anything to add, it's just what just during our current situation, but future as well.
Okay.
So Jeff, I had a question. If we were to use the 7-passenger van and send the driver out twice, would we be able to use these funds for that additional driver cost?
We would, but this is a route that's going to Faribault
Mhm.
every day, and so it's a lot bigger cost on sending it twice to Faribault.
Sure.
But yeah, if that van is available now,
Mhm.
if that's what you're asking, if we need to use that in other places.
No, I was just kind of thinking, well, is this taking advantage of the CARES money to the best that we can versus
Yeah.
not being able to use those funds, but.
And that's what the funds are there for. And
Right.
I think with instances like this, and the ionizers, you get to.
Yeah, exactly. That's-
Use them
that's
not
kinda
only
where it's
this year,
going.
but you get to use them for vans you can use for 12 years in a fleet, so, I mean, it's a.
Right, so really using those CARES dollars to the best of our ability for really our fleet and our building facility.
Right,
Okay.
yep.
And on this narrative, on page 24, it talks about the state contract price. So we just look for some help to get the best possible deal we can on this?
And Josh can maybe talk a little bit about this, but we have a dealer that is state approved and does the bidding already
Okay.
to be state approved for the contract pricing. Is that,
But example, Ford already has a state contract on vehicles, so they already insured those. It's real similar to when they go out and purchase a bus, by vendors that are on a state contract, so we don't have to do that type of work of finding the low-cost option or getting out.
Okay, thank you. So we need a motion to approve the purchase of the van, the 10-pass van.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Bill, second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Katie. Other discussion? A yes vote would be for the approval of the purchase. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That passes by a 5-0 vote. Next, consideration to approve a leave starting October 1, 2020 as per the Teacher's Master Agreement, Article 10, Section 13, Mobility Incentive Leave.
yeah, this is for Joel Roosted, who's had an opportunity come up, and I feel supportive of it, and I would recommend that the board approve this. And it does fit into the mobility incentive leave clause.
The mobility incentive, is there a time
Yeah.
sequence to this?
Yes, there is a 3-year minimum, but they have to let us know each February. Is it February 1st, Lori?
Correct.
Yeah, February 1st.
Okay.
Three-year
They're intending to
minimum?
come back. So it's a 1 year at a time. but
1 year at a time.
3-year minimum, 5-year maximum.
Okay.
Yep.
Do they have to do it for 3 years or one year at a time?
3-year minimum.
TRA, they can come back after.
Yeah. TRA says that they can come back after the first year.
Statute.
Yeah, statute, that's
Okay.
kind of a,
That, it just doesn't make sense.
yeah, it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
The
Because-
minimum part doesn't make sense.
Right.
But,
Since it isn't really a minimum.
right.
Right.
Yeah, let's not go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we would need a motion to approve this leave starting 10/1 of 2020.
I'll move to approve the leave.
Brenda on the motion.
Anna second.
Who did?
Anna.
Anna on the second. Thank you. Any other discussion? So a yes vote would be approving a leave starting 10/1 for Mr. Roosted as per the Teacher's Master Agreement. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Consideration to approve the classroom size guidelines recommended from the Finance Committee.
This was an item that goes back till March. We were set to run this through the finance committee meeting then, but as everybody knows, the pandemic kind of blew that up. There's some questions around just a short clarification to make sure that there's a clear message to incoming families about dedication to class sizes under 25 in grades pre-K through 2, so that it fits what we're trying to say down below better in these areas here. Before, the language did not. It was a little confusing about that, and so the clarification was made. And so we just need to update this document, basically.
And those numbers have not changed on the bottom.
No.
It's
those are
just the
same
updating
numbers.
of the,
To
yeah.
clarify the
Correct.
the language. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so it's clarification to approve the classroom size guidelines. Would that be fair?
Yeah, with the update.
With the update on the top
Okay.
Yes, there's a,
in red. Is that the only update?
yeah. Yep.
You said just class sizes under 25, but then if you scroll down or you read further into it, it's actually 30 for 5th grade.
Right.
So,
But that just says pre-K through 2.
Mhm.
Right, Anna was saying before it used
Oh,
to say
gotcha,
that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I understand.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the update.
motion by Katie to approve. Second,
I'll second.
seconded by Bill. Other discussion?
I have a question about this. We haven't talked about it recently, but the class size is something I'd like to see when we do go through and do a survey to gauge importance, because I know there was discussion when this went through originally about class sizes versus everyday high ed and what's more important to maintain. So I guess I have two questions, and that's what is the status of the community survey, and then question number two, is this something that will be addressed within that survey?
I think that's a good point about the community survey. I'm waiting on a draft from our company so that we can get a committee together here to start forming that. And I guess it really wasn't an agenda item, but at some point here, maybe the October 12th meeting, we can get a board member or two to sit in on those discussions, along with their admin team and staff as well, to help formulate what that survey looks like. And we can add this if we feel that that's important as well.
That's fair. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. A yes vote would be to approve the classroom size guidelines as shown. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay, that passes by a 5-0 vote. Moving down, consideration to approve the 2021 Fall Fundraising Activity Edition, Dance and Mask.
Yes, Dance has decided on masks, and maybe Mr. Olson can speak up to this a little bit more, but I believe that was one of the ones that we were waiting on.
Reed?
Just gonna create a way to do some fundraising, with the county. What they're looking at.
Okay, any questions for Reed? Otherwise, I would look for a motion to approve the Fall Fundraising Activity Edition.
I'll make the motion, Anna.
Anna, thank you. Seconded? Second?
I'll second.
Second by Katie. Other discussion?
I do have a question. Are all of these like kind of sales, are they being done online, or are we discouraging the door-to-door thing and all of that kind of stuff with the COVID, or how is that being presented?
Yes, that was cards that were sent out previously that were distributed door to door.
Okay.
Good. A yes vote would be for the approval of the 2021 Fall Fundraising Activity Edition. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bill? Or Bob? Yes. Yeah, I know what. I gotta have one or two of those every day.
It's all right.
Every time we
I've
have a
been called
meeting.
worse.
Number 14, consideration to approve advertising opportunities, and encloses a sample of the 2021 activity program that's being suggested, I guess.
Yeah, and Reed will take over here shortly, but this is one of the items that I think Jake had a little bit of start last year with the scoreboards, and Reed has been talking about this piece as well. And so I will turn this over to Reed now, and let me know when you want me to switch over to the booklet document.
Sure. Thanks, everybody. Just looking at some business opportunities, forming some partnerships with some community businesses in regards to whether they would feel comfortable using their advertising dollars to support our programming. Different levels or tiers, if you will, that we can take a look at would be our community ad brochures, game program ads, live streaming, fencing for some vinyl banners for some fencing in specific areas such as our outfield softball fences, indoor tennis court areas, and additional scoreboards should we move so in the gym into the future. Those would be certain areas that we'd be looking at. And again, as I went through that, community ed was staying through the community ed and talking with Afton, it sounds like our brochure, the cost to set that brochure out, maybe between the $2,000 and $3,000 total. So if we looked at adding a page or two of business logos, ads, if people are comfortable in being part of that community ed sponsorship to help offset, if not cover those costs, so that those dollars could remain with our programming. We come back to game program ads so that Jeff can show a sample of that. The live streaming is something that we're going to be doing here now. We just made the purchase of what is called a Huddle Focus. A lot of our athletic teams are already using a subscription base called Huddle. And Huddle offers a camera that will mount on the wall, will not require anybody to do any of the filming, and a lot of them, as long as our schedule is set, it will come in and it'll start 50 minutes ahead of time, and it will film it. That will go into our programming subscription, but it will also live stream out to everybody. Due to the guidance right now of not allowing visitors into our indoor activities, it's going to be absolutely vital that we stream as many opportunities, if not all opportunities, as we possibly can. We also purchased a mobile streaming unit along with from our technology consultant. He should be getting in here hopefully this week yet sometime. When we're looking at using that mobile unit to help stream our football games at John Birch, our fall musical, all those programming areas that are not in the gym. Now, a lot of that is going to depend on technology and hotspots work. HPC is going to be coming at some point. I'm starting to talk on techie stuff, and that's not where I should be talking, so I apologize here. I'm going to put some kind of a hardwire system into the pros nest at John Birch. Obviously, we want to get to the point where we can be able to stream our soccer matches in the future, our lower level football games, our tennis match. The sky is the limit. If we can gym, the competition gym at some point. We will look at creating the scoreboards, advertising signage to go with that to help offset or cover those costs. Much like it's been done with previous years with the soccer scoreboard and football scoreboard at John Birch as well. And so if the signage is attached to the scoreboard, then that will go into the scoreboard account that already exists from the scoreboard and the John Birch football scoreboard account. The game program has been going to a separate account to just cover the printing costs. John Birch, when you take that to the beacon to cover those costs, Jeff, maybe now would be a good time to pull that up if you could, please. This is something that, just scroll up a little bit so we can see the Safer Stronger together. This would be the outside of it. I've done something similar to this in previous districts, and this is the tech person that created this. This is not a district that I was affiliated with. But those ads can come in, and so you would fold that in the middle. The Safer Stronger part would be the front, and the 6, 9, 15 ads there would be the way back, and just go back up. That would be the inside. And obviously we could put everybody's logo in there. Then we would just put inserts of our rosters rather than copying them into those vacant areas there on that inside part. So that would be an example of that. And so what we would use those extra dollars for, again, if it's attached to a scoreboard, it's staying in the scoreboard account. The other things that would go into another account that we could use to help updating facilities or facility usage. For example, we're looking at purchasing new wireless mics for both the music program and the fall musical. And that would be an account that we could dip in to help cover that cost. But that's a pretty sizable chunk of it. So those would just be ways of us helping having some additional revenue to help supplement our program.
Reed, how does this, how does this mesh with the individual programs that do their own fundraising for their own activity?
How does it mesh with that?
Well, if we're seeking sponsorship within the community, and an individual program who's got their own booster club is seeking money from there, are we double dipping with our community?
Good question. I guess I don't.
I mean, I can maybe speak to this just from advertiser point of view. I work down in the Austin area, and I buy a lot of this type of advertising. And we also donate to booster clubs for a variety of activities. I guess I can't speak for businesses in Cannon Falls, but as an advertiser, we will take any opportunity that we get to help the area schools. So I don't foresee that being an issue. And the opposite of that is they have the choice of doing one or the other, or neither, or both. The more opportunities they have, the better. At least that's how my organization looks at it. And I feel like Cannon Falls is pretty similar in their mindset as far as things like that are concerned.
I like the opportunity of getting multiple businesses involved at different levels, whatever they choose. Again, it comes back to choice with that. Obviously, some of the signage might cost more than the other areas, but I think the choice piece is a big opportunity, and getting as many businesses as we can that want to be involved with it is a big piece also.
Well, I think, Bob, you make the question, I think we've discussed this in the past about going to the businesses for donations and hitting them up constantly and trying to be aware of that. And I think this is a little different because they're making the option or deciding to spend their dollars and hopefully getting something back from it along with helping the school. So I understand that part of it and kind of what Anna's saying there. I had two questions for Reed. One, on the live streaming, who has the hot button to shut it down for technology in the event of something going wrong with the live stream?
In regards to maybe what we're viewing isn't being appropriate?
Exactly. I've actually been involved in a Zoom meeting that went haywire, and so that's kind of why I'm asking the question. Because it is live, and you just have to have that technology and have someone manning the button to shut it down.
I would say at this point we'd be looking at, especially for that mobile unit that would be outdoors right now for this year, we'd be looking for that, an adult to be doing that would be trusted to take care of that. Down the line, if we can grow an activity and create some kind of a tech club, streaming club, whatever you would like to call that, we would have an advisor oversee that, such as we would do through our other coach.
Good.
In getting back to also, in the plan that I listed here, reaching out to Kyle with the Chamber of Commerce, and we might find that once I send something out to all those businesses, maybe Canton Falls, this isn't the market for them. Maybe there's not enough interest for them, and that's fine. But we took a shot at it. And I should say that for the first part here, that we did talk about an extension of facilities committee, and we did approve that. And we did talk about that our first community advisory council here last week and approved as well.
Okay.
Okay, my second question was around, is there any guidelines as far as the businesses that would be accepted into advertise?
I think we talked about this, we do have a policy in place already currently, in regards to what the logo would look like. Obviously, we want to make sure, say if it's a bar and grill, we're not going to put any images of any adult beverages or anything like that, so we make sure that it would be appropriate.
All right, thank you.
Let's get a motion and a second on this so we can continue our discussion.
Oh, okay.
We have a motion to approve the advertising opportunities and showing the sample there as a template for us.
I'll make a motion.
Anna, was that you?
Sure.
And who,
I'll
second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Anna and a second by Katie. Okay, let's finish our discussion or continue it.
I have a quick question, and maybe this is going too far down the line, but are you going to go back out to businesses for each program, or are you going to sell it by the year? Because right now I buy per sport, and each head coach comes to me, and as an advertiser, it would be nice to only have one contact and maybe just have it for you, as opposed to having
For sport.
Yeah,
That makes
eight
sense.
That'd be tough.
people come to me.
My goal, and obviously I need to talk to head coaches about this, and really get a good feel as to if anybody's doing well. And talking with Afton has been pretty plain and generic to this point. My goal would be that we would come to you as a business and say, your ad is going to be in our game program, and it's going to hit high traffic areas, for example, of, let's say, just say the indoor sports, for example. It's going to be for your volleyball, your girls basketball, boys basketball, your wrestling, etc. It will include football. If we start doing it for soccer, tennis, whatever that looks like, we would want to, especially for our printing costs, we're going to want to have that plain template, if you will, as many as we can, as opposed to having 5, 6 different that would be good.
That answer that
My
for you?
question was, we wouldn't allow like advertisers' names to be on signage, would we? It would just be, even if that money that was from selling ads was used for signage within the school. Would we have advertisers' names on the signage?
Are you talking about on the scoreboards?
Yeah, scoreboard.
Yeah, it'd be a scoreboard ad, just like it would be out at, John Birch Burnley or at the soccer school, yes.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the advertising opportunities as shown. A yes vote would be to confirm that. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay, that passes by a 5-0 vote. Okay, our additional item was the approval of the long-term sub in PE and health. And you had one listed, and I didn't get the spelling of it correct, so I'll let you take it from here.
Yes, the name, and obviously be taking over for Joel Roosted, is Brian Morlock, Moorlach. And Brian would start on September 30th, this Wednesday. And we would be looking for approval on that.
Okay, we would need a motion for the approval
I'll
of the
make a
long-term
motion.
sub, and that comes from Katie.
I'll second.
Bill is on the second. Other discussion? A yes vote would be for the approval of the long-term sub, Brian Morlock. Bill?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. That passes by a 5-0 vote. Informational items. What's coming up for us is a consideration to approve the winter head and assistant coaches, consideration to approve the legislative changes. We have other things that will be added, and maybe check that for that survey discussion.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on October 12th.
Okay. And if there's anything else that you would like to see that's germane to the district, you can contact Lori or Jeff, and we can see if we can get it on the meeting. Team, we had a lot of stuff going on this evening, and a lot of good discussion. So unless anyone has anything to add as we close, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. Anna.
Anna on the motion, Brenda on the second. Other discussion? All of it. Oh, I almost got caught
Almost did
again.
it.
A yes vote would be for the approval of adjournment. Bob, yes. Brenda?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That says we are now adjourned. Thank you.